Hey everybody. So I got tagged by Sandman Logan 5, aka John, aka Peter Parker, aka Totally Awesome Dude, for the favorite John Byrne comic or comics tag started by our good buddy Hellermouse. I'm also supposed to mention what videos I have watched. I watched Hellermouse's, ETA Nix. I watched Sandman Logan 5's, and I also watched this new guy who I just came across. His name's Liking the Covers 40, as far as the numbers, I don't know, 40 something. It's written on this piece of paper, but the piece of paper is holding up my phone. Yes, my phone is being held up by a piece of paper. So, excuse me, sorry I'm not giving you the justice you deserve there, sir. His video was pretty cool. John Byrne. At one time, I was a really big John Byrne fan. I had a bunch of Alpha Flight, and I had his Superman stuff, which I actually picked up before I picked up his X-Men stuff, and I picked up the Alpha Flight stuff before I picked up the Superman stuff. Can't find any of that now. Well, I found this, I still have the X-Men stuff, and I have some stuff that I've acquired since then. But I think my Alpha Flight and my Superman is in that long box of comics that I can't find. Disappeared somewhere. Okay, so at one point I had all of my comics inventoried on a database that would let me go through by writer and artist and inker and everything else. It was all on my phone, so that was super convenient, but I got a new phone, so all that's gone. So I went old school and just went on Wikipedia and made a list of what he had done. And then I referenced that list against my Excel spreadsheet for the comics that I own now. I pulled out some books. I'm not going to talk about all these, but I pulled out some books. Just a couple. Just, these guys. These guys. These guys. But I will talk about some of my favorite John Byrne stuff. This stack right here, this is the his X-Men. All of this. This is all of John Byrne X-Men stuff. And some of his later stuff on X-Men was pretty good. For the time, the Bishop stuff was pretty cool. And I thought he had done that really... There's a story involving Iceman. It's almost like a solo story. I thought that was his too, but evidently not. Or Wikipedia could be wrong. I don't know. I doubt it. Because Wikipedia is the bastion of all known knowledge in the universe. So, there's no way that could be incorrect. But, okay. Like I said, I started with Alpha Flight, and then I went on to Superman. And at one point, I also had some of his Fantastic Four stuff. It's probably also in that long box. So let's just call that long box. I can't find my John Byrne stuff. Because it's gone. Where was I? I got lost there for a second in my head. It was a crappy day at work. Okay, not talking about my crappy day at work, we're talking about John Byrne. So, let's start with this. Doom Patrol. This is Volume 4. I know a lot of people didn't like this, and if you take it in, let's just call the previous 3 volumes of Doom Patrol continuity, and then you spit this on top of all of that, it didn't really fit. It kind of came off more like he just wanted to draw 18 issues of Doom Patrol than anything else. I'm a huge Doom Patrol fan, particularly the Grant Morrison stuff, followed closely behind by the older, the Silver Age stuff, Silver, early Bronze. That's some of my favorite stuff ever. But I really liked this. I really liked his take on Doom Patrol. It didn't really fit, but it reminded me a lot of the older Doom Patrol before Grant Morrison made us all change the way we think of comics. So this is on the list, his Doom Patrol stuff. I picked these up dirt cheap. I think I found most of them in the dollar bin. I picked up a couple on eBay for a couple bucks. No big deal. But if you like Byrne, pick it up. The art's pretty cool. If you like Doom Patrol, you might want to skip it. But it is Byrne, It's good burn. It's just, it didn't really fit. So yeah, there's those. 18 issues of John Byrne Doom Patrol. I think this gets a honorable mention too, as far as my favorite John Byrne stuff. And I found this was in the dollar bin, and I was stoked when I found it in the dollar bin. And then I got it home and I traded, or swapped out the bag, and I realized why it was in the dollar bin. It smells like some sort of engine additive, like that metallic, oily smell. I don't know. You can't smell through the bag, thank God. But yeah, this is Doomsday +1 number 9. This is the only issue of this that I have. And at one point I was going to track down the rest of these issues, but my priority just kind of changed. But maybe I'll put this on the list. Because yesterday I dropped all kinds of books off my pool. It's kind of sad. I'm on the phone with the dude, and I was like, yeah, I want to drop this, and this, and this, and this, and this. He's like, oh, you're getting rid of all your Snyder stuff, huh? I went, yeah, I'm getting rid of all my Scott Snyder stuff. And this book, and this book, and this book. He goes, wow. I go, I'm going to add some, so don't worry. I'm still coming. I still have stuff. I'm still buying comics. I'm just not buying as many. He goes, all right, cool. It's cool. Okay. Enough jibber jabbering. Now, let's talk about my love affair with the X-Men. It started with the Mark Silvestri stuff. Absolutely loved it. At the time, this was after I got out of like G.I. Joe and Transformers. I got into X-Men and the West Coast Avengers for some random reason. Those were just the books that I gravitated to. I think it was just like the teen thing, and it wasn't the Avengers. I don't know why. I've never really been much of an Avengers fan. So I started collecting there, and then fast forward a couple years, I picked up this huge run of X-Men off of eBay for, it was like a long box and a half of sequential, intact, near mint run of X-Men for only a couple $100. So I jumped on that. That almost finished me off into the end of the run, because it was, like I said, it was huge. It started before the Jim Lee stuff and went all the way to the end. So that's over a couple hundred issues. That's more like 300 issues. And then I started going backwards from there. And all of my preconceived notions about X-Men changed the further back into the back issues of the X-Men that I got into, if that makes any sense. So let's talk about like what I consider to be like the golden age of the X-Men. And that would be well, don't get me wrong, the Dave Cockrum stuff was the shit. It was amazing. It was amazing. Sorry I cussed. But it's great. But as far as the storytelling goes, and the way the book seemed like it stepped up from the almost canceled X-Men to, oh my god, this is the X-Men, back when the X-Men was really, really good. Not to be confused with the stuff that Jim Lee and Chris Claremont had done later, which was also good, but you know what I'm saying. We're not talking 90s flashy art. We're talking classic sequential art, I guess. Okay. Now, I know Nick showed this, 109. This was really good, but this was kind of the start of the, and he mentioned this in his video too, the Canadian sensibility with the X-Men as far as Wolverine. This is kind of when he came, not this issue in particular, but this is around the time in the X-Men where Wolverine became more prominent, because prior to that he was like, nobody really knew what to do with him. And all you older collectors are like, well, yeah, but to the younger collectors, Wolverine hasn't always been the uber popular guy that he is today. He's dead and has 6 books. But as far as my favorite, some of my favorites, because I'm terrible at making decisions, so I can't just pick 1 or 3. I'm going to go through a couple. 115 and 116. These are some of my favorites. Well, this cover is just amazing. But the Savage Land story, that was really cool. I really, really dug that. I really liked, where is it? Come on now. I like this Proteus stuff too. This was kind of interesting. This is the primer to like my esoteric comics, I think, is what this was. 127 and 128. Very cool. The Hellfire Club stuff was good. I dug it. This is when Wolverine finally decides it's not going to take any shit anymore. I'm cussing a lot in this video, sorry. But, hands down, I'll take the Pepsi Challenge with anybody on this one. X-Men 137. This is in my top 10 favorite books ever. So this would have to be my pick for my favorite John Byrne. Hands down. X-Men 137. This is when the X-Men for me were at their peak. The Dark Phoenix saga. It's like everybody, we all kind of nerd out and go, well, who would win a fight between this person and this person? Or the other day, what was it? It was during our live chat. It was the Teen Titans or the X-Men. And I'm like, the X-Men. Because they got Dark Phoenix. You're done. Titans are cool. But they don't have Dark Phoenix. Or somebody'd be like, well, who would you use, or, on Facebook, on the YouTube comic book page on Facebook, like, who would you use to fight Superman if you went crazy? I'm like, Dark Phoenix. Silver Surfer goes crazy. Who are you going to pick to fighting? Dark Phoenix. Galacticus shows up. Who are you going to use? Dark Phoenix. You get it? Dark Phoenix. Good stuff. 137. I love this book. Love, 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 love. A couple more honorable mentions, if you so indulge me. 141. 142. Days of Future Past. Great stuff. Like it says right here, in this issue, everybody dies. Cool, cool, cool. And this is one of the most, what would you call it? It's not parody, but like cover swiped covers ever. And I think that's just because it's as good as it is. But yeah, John Byrne, Terry Austin art. There's very few people that inked Byrne as good as Terry Austin did. Terry Austin's awesome anyway. Sometimes it kind of seems like he dials it in, or calls it in, but sometimes he's banging it out. And this is one of those banging it out covers. This is great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Cool beans. 12 minutes. Me talking about Byrne. If it would have been somebody I was more into, this probably would have been a 20-minute video. But let's leave it at that. Thank you, John, for the tag. I always enjoy getting tagged in videos because it gives me an excuse to make a video. And it's nice to know that people out there like hearing my opinion about this kind of thing. So, tagging people now. I have my regular little pool of people who are awesome individuals who they're on my rotating tag selection kind of thing. But I think I'm going to venture out a little bit. I'm going to tag Sleepy Reader 666 and Oddfellow's Thoughts. One more, I guess. Let's tag Francis McMenamin. Right on. Well, fellas, I look forward to watching your videos. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this one. It means a lot. I appreciate the support. Thanks. Bye. Hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button.